What's up, guys? It's Coach Coltharp. So many of you guys have talked to me about how you love the air raid, but you just can't get your head coach to buy in. Check out this video. I'm going to give you some ways to convince him. Stay tuned. Alright guys, this is Coach Coltharp. Welcome back to the 92 Meshgroup channel, your home for the air raid offense on the internet. Still fighting this cold a little bit, but I thought I would talk to you about how you get your head coach to change to the air raid offense. So many of you young guys have jumped into this certification. You've jumped into my course and the stuff that Coach Mackey's offering, and all of us guys on the internet who are trying to share some stuff with you. And you're like, yo, coach, I love this stuff, but my head coach runs flex bone. How do I convince him to do these things? So I thought I would talk a little bit about how you get your head coach to change to the air raid offense. So let's jump into it. Let me get over to the slides that I made for you. And here it is. And so basically what I'm talking about is this. What are the non-negotiables? You have to understand what the non-negotiables for a head coach is. When I first got my head coaching job, I had a guy who was my mentor. Love him to death. He's still alive today. But he told me, he said, you enjoyed your last football practice. And he said, if you're going to get fired doing what you believe in. So no head coach is going to get fired doing something you don't believe in. So you have to convince him that the air raid is for him. And it has to fit his personality. Because listen, not to be political, but the air raid is not a Republican offense. There's nothing conservative about the air raid. You have to have this attack mentality, and if you do not have that, it's not going to fit your personality. So trying to get your head coach to agree to that is a waste of time. So what are some things that you should highlight if you're trying to convince your head coach that this is something he needs to do? First of all, it's the set practice schedule. All head coaches struggle with practice planning. I don't care how good you think they are. They sit in their office or they sit in their classroom and they're like, God, what do I need to do today? What do I have to do today? The thing about the air raid is that the process says you do this today, you do this tomorrow, you do this the next day. And it makes life a lot easier for a head coach. I can speak to that personally. Before I became an air raid coach, when I was a head coach, I struggled with what do we need to do today? We probably did things that we didn't need to do, but once I became an air raid coach, it was great. We almost didn't have to have an offensive practice schedule at all because my kids knew we were going to go settle a noose, pat and go, routes on air, blah, 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 blah. So that's really a great thing. The next thing is highlight the install. Hey, look, Coach Salas does a 4-day install, but most of us do a 3-day install. Highlight that 3-day install schedule. Say, look, coach, it's so simple. There's 3 to 4 days to put this in, and then you just regurgitate. And so it's really, really easy. And the other thing about that is this. Your runs are your runs. You can pick whatever runs you want. I just say don't pick more than 3 because it fits in with that. Participation. It's a huge selling point for head coaches. Every head coach I know complains about kids not wanting to play. How do you get your basketball players out? Well, you tell them, hey, yo, bro, we're going to run the air raid. 13 out of the 15 basketball players at the last school I was a head coach at played football. And that's because they knew I was going to let them throw balls over people and catch them in the end zone, and the band was going to go crazy and the cheerleaders were going to go crazy. And it was similar to basketball where you dunked it and the crowd went wild. They didn't have to worry about putting their hands on the ground and down blocking people and all this kind of stuff. Hey, listen, I'm not saying that's the way to go, but that's the way it is. Today's kids are different. It sells your program. Hey, did you see so-and-so do this? Hey, did you see so-and-so do that? If you're into that situation, you're going to get kids who want to play. So-and-so had 4 catches for 112 yards and 3 touchdowns. What? For real? You could do that too, kid. You think you're a college basketball player? You're a 6'3" power forward. Nobody in Division II looks like you. But everybody in Division I wishes they were you. That's the way you sell your program. Points, points, points. Score those points, guys, and people want to play. Now, your head coach is going to have some arguments. He's going to say, yo, this is really different. One of the guys that's been messaging me has been talking about, coach, we're a flex bone team, but we got a guy that can really spin the ball. There's some young kids who can catch it. What do we do? Look, here's what you got to say. Coach, there's two ways to win football games. You do something better than everybody else, or you do something different. And in the air raid, if you do something different and you do something better, you're going to be better. And so you got to do something better than everybody else. And this is just something still that a lot of people don't want to fight. I can remember being an air raid team, and then when I got to the playoffs, I saw wing T all the way to every round. Boom, 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 boom. And look, there's nothing wrong with wing T if you can get guys who want to do it. But today's kids, I just don't know that they're ready to do that every week. And there's too many plays, coach. There's too many plays. We can't play defense to that. How are we going to handle that? But look, my thing with that is, coach, I would rather lose 42-28 than 14-7, because if we're losing 42-28 or 42-35, fans are going to be ready to come. And look, tell your head coach his AD will really appreciate the gate. When I first started coaching the air raid, there'd be 12, 15 kids people watching us warm up. By the time we got really good, there'd be 50 to 150 to 200 people in the stands watching pregame, because they knew at every snap we could score. And look, home runs and touchdowns sell tickets, and ADs, that's all they care about. So, they while they want you to win, they also want you to be classy. And listen, it's fun. Tell them, look, balance in the air raid equals more guys touching the ball. And I put 3 L's for that because it's really, really important, and I couldn't spell because, I'm still sick. But, more guys touching the ball. There's a way to hide the booster club's president's son. Put him at one of the receivers. Let him go out there and run a couple of routes. If he has 3 catches for the year, the booster club's president is happy. The head coach is happy because the booster club president isn't bothering him. But it's like Mike Leach said, it's not whether you have the same amount of rushing yards as you do passing yards. It's the same amount of, who has the amount of touches. Squadron 53, we talk about 53-3. We talk about that all the time. How many guys are having to cover X, Y, Z, and H? Very, very important. Look, kids want to play in this. It's really simple. They see it on TV. They want to be a part of it. They want to play in this offense. And like I said, it's just one of those things that you want to do, that you want to be a part of. And as always, spin it to win.